More bad news for Florida First Lady Casey DeSantis. Her latest excuse in the Hope Florida scandal makes her look totally ridiculous. More so than standing next to a husband in white high-heel boots. Welcome back to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. In case you missed it, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has embroiled himself in an embezzlement scandal, one designed to raise his wife Casey's image ahead of her own potential run for governor. The scandal involves a missing $10 million personally appropriated by Ron DeSantis from taxpayer coffers to his wife's charity. In case you're new to the scandal, here's an overview. Now, this is a little bit of a longer clip, but it makes everything easy to follow. Have a look.
All right. So here's what I can basically say is that the state of Florida learned that they were being overbilled for Medicaid and that they were owed $67 million. And the Ron DeSantis administration told that company, okay, return $57 million to the Florida taxpayers and send $10 million to the Hope Florida Foundation. Now, under state rules and laws, you are supposed to reveal any details of a settlement with a company that you're returning money to the state of Florida to. They never reported the $10 million to Hope Florida Foundation. That came out later. From there, within days of the money going into the Hope Florida Foundation, a nonprofit, the money was then diverted to two political committees that then transferred the money to a third political committee, Keep Florida Clean, which was being run by then Governor Ron DeSantis' chief of staff, James Uthmeyer, who today is the sitting attorney general in Florida. And they used that money, it is believed, to fight the marijuana initiative. So to put it as succinctly as possible, money that should have been returned to taxpayers ended up in a political action committee controlled and designated by the governor to fight a political campaign. And the state house has been holding hearings. Nobody is willing to go as far as to say there's criminality for sure. But in speaking to the chairman of the committee that's investigating this, a Republican chairman, mind you, he does say that the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Florida should look into this because this was Medicare dollars, partly federal dollars that should have been returned to the state of Florida and were not. And there's a larger question here, too. Now, the governor has failed to actually address any of these issues. Hope Florida was the signature program by Casey DeSantis. And as you know, there's been a lot of speculation that Casey DeSantis wants to run for governor.
Needless to say, the transparent misconduct on display here has invited the ire of voters, and even Republican lawmakers in Florida. The state legislature has launched an investigation into the scandal, and at the time of this report, witnesses called to testify have defied their subpoenas. Another lovely byproduct of the Trump era. No respect for the rule of law or institutions. But I digress. At a press conference this morning, Casey and Ron DeSantis attempted to downplay the scandal. Here's what the First Lady had to say in her own defense.
I just wanted to say this. I think there's kind of like a misunderstanding or just a misunderstanding, I guess, is the best way to say it, about what Hope Florida is. Hope Florida is not a program. Hope Florida is an idea. Hope Florida is a philosophy. It is, how can we help people in need and do better, legitimately? It's not about just giving somebody a check and hoping it goes well, and we'll see you later, and this is what you're entitled to, and that's the end of the story. And so I would just say from the bottom of my heart of everything that everybody is doing to try to make a difference, what we are doing is good. What we are doing is just. Sometimes you have to put on the full armor of God and you fight, because you know what you're doing is righteous. You know that you're fighting for somebody who needs someone to fight for them, that they might not have felt that. But I would say to all the navigators that I've had the opportunity to meet in particular, you're doing good, and we're proud of you standing up every day.
Spiritual armor. Tell me, Casey, how's that working for you right now? To quote En Vogue, it's time for a breakdown. Let me get this straight, Ms. DeSantis. Hope Florida is no longer a program. It's not a charity. It's just an idea, a movement, if you will. If that is the case, then why is Ron DeSantis personally appropriating taxpayer dollars to it? And more importantly, why is Hope Florida then channeling those funds to dark money groups which then happen to spend the same amount of money opposing ballot measures that Governor DeSantis also opposed? It's lovely that you want to tout how wonderful Hope Florida is, the great charity work it does, how that validates your faith and whatnot, but that does nothing to address the real issue here. That Hope Florida is a pawn in a dark money scandal that involves stolen taxpayer money. And your little speech here, while admittedly polished, only makes you sound even more ridiculous. Instead of addressing the documented scandal, you want to pretend it doesn't exist. You call it a misunderstanding. Not only does that make you sound delusional, it makes Florida voters, and indeed the rest of the world, feel gaslit. Don't tell us that we don't know when the facts are already documented. I swear, these people, the DeSantises, both of them, they once again prove that they are Diet Trump, a watered-down, ineffectual copy of the real thing, more embarrassing than anything else. Don't expect this scandal to go away anytime soon either. And amid news that MSNBC host David Jolly is considering a run for governor on the Democratic ticket, now might be a good time to temper your ambitions. This is Occupy Democrats.